What my alien roommate saw left her speechless, and she didn't hesitate to let me know. For most of her life, she had dreamed of exploring space, but the reality of stepping into a bustling orbital station was overwhelming. The air smelled faintly of ozone, recycled water, and faintly of hot electronics. Lights blinked along the hallways, and humans and aliens alike hurried past, carrying boxes, bags, and sometimes curious pets that floated slightly above the floor in small anti-gravity harnesses. Myra tightened her grip on her suitcase and pushed the door to her new apartment. The door hissed open, revealing a small but tidy room. A single bed with neatly folded sheets occupied one corner, a desk sat under a wide window looking out onto the space lanes, and a small kitchenette occupied the other side. A few potted plants floated in tiny magnetic holders near the ceiling. She exhaled slowly, feeling a wave of relief. This was hers, even if only temporarily, until she finished her research internship at the station's science hub. "Hello," Myra called softly, unsure if anyone was home. A soft rustle came from the far corner, followed by the most unusual sound she had ever heard, a kind of melodic hum that seemed almost alive. From the shadows, a figure emerged. It was tall, much taller than an average human, with skin that shimmered faintly in shades of blue and green. Its eyes were large and reflective, and its limbs moved with a grace that seemed almost liquid. Myra froze, unsure whether she should step back or introduce herself. "Hi, I'm Myra," she said finally, forcing a friendly smile. "You must be my roommate." The figure tilted its head, studying her silently for a moment, then emitted the same melodic hum. A small device on its chest projected words into the air. "Greetings, I am Zeph." "Welcome to our shared quarters." Myra blinked. "Zeph, okay, nice to meet you." Zeph nodded, and then, without further explanation, began floating toward a small console near the window. It touched the controls delicately, and a holographic screen flickered to life, displaying data Myra couldn't even begin to understand. I don't know what that is," Myra said nervously. Zeph looked back at her, the hum shifting slightly, almost as if it were laughing. Curiosity detected, observation encouraged. Myra laughed nervously. "I guess I'm going to learn a lot living with you, huh?" Zeph didn't reply with words, but tilted its head again, as though acknowledging the statement. Myra decided that, for now, she wouldn't push for conversation. She had unpacked her clothes and personal items, leaving the heavier equipment for later. She placed her small bag of Earth snacks on the countertop, a few chocolate bars, some dried fruit, and a bag of roasted nuts. Zeph's eyes widened slightly when it saw the snacks. Myra grinned. "You want some?" For a moment, Zeph just stared. Then, very carefully, it extended one of its long, elegant fingers toward a chocolate bar. It picked it up, examined it, then slowly, very slowly, placed it in its mouth. The reaction was immediate. A small, soft hum, almost musical, and a quick spark of light flickered across its skin. Myra laughed, delighted. "You like it. I knew chocolate could win anyone over." Zeph's attention shifted quickly, almost imperceptibly, to the small potted plant floating near the ceiling. Its fingers hovered just above the leaves, and Myra could see faint energy waves emanating from the alien's touch. The plant quivered slightly, then stabilized. "You do that?" Myra asked, pointing at the plant. "Observation only." "No harm intended," Zeph projected. Myra nodded, feeling both cautious and fascinated. Living with an alien was going to be unlike anything she had ever imagined. Over the next few hours, Myra settled in, unpacking her clothes and organizing her small space. Zeph moved silently around the room, touching objects with curiosity, examining everything from the sink faucet to her collection of books. At first, Myra felt a little self-conscious, but she quickly realized that Zeph wasn't judging. It was learning. Every flick of the wrist, every glance, seemed to store knowledge somewhere deep within its mind. "What's it like seeing things like this?" Myra asked quietly, gesturing at her room. "Different perception detected. Humans notice form and color. I detect molecular structure, energy flow, and resonance patterns," Zeph projected, its words scrolling in glowing letters in the air. Myra blinked. "Wow, that's different. Must be incredible to see the world like that." "Incomparable." Myra smiled, feeling the first hint of genuine connection. She decided to try a little experiment. She grabbed a small music player and pressed play. Soft earth music filled the room, classical strings flowing gently. Zeph's eyes widened again, a soft ripple running across its skin. The hum it emitted now had rhythm, almost matching the music. Myra laughed softly. "I think you like it," Pleasure noted. For a while, the two of them shared a quiet companionship. Mara studied her alien roommate in fascination, wondering about Zeph's origins and how its species thought, felt, and perceived the universe. She noticed how it seemed to react differently to mundane objects. A cup of water, for example, would shimmer in Zeph's touch. A pen would levitate slightly when it was nearby. Even simple light from the ceiling created dancing patterns along its skin. As night fell over the space station, the view outside the window changed. The sprawling city of the orbital station glittered like a field of stars. Ships of various shapes and sizes moved gracefully along the lanes, some so massive they made Mara feel small and insignificant. Zeph floated closer to the window, arms behind its back, staring outward in complete silence. Mara hesitated, then joined it, feeling a sense of awe wash over her. "You ever get used to this?" she asked softly. "Never. Observation remains constant." Mara laughed softly, a little nervous. "I guess I'll have to get used to sharing a room with someone who never stops noticing everything." Adaptation required. Mara didn't fully understand what Zeph meant by adaptation, but she decided not to question it too deeply. She felt a strange sense of comfort in the alien's presence. It wasn't judgmental or demanding. It simply existed alongside her, curious and aware. And Mara, in turn, found herself equally intrigued by Zeph's calm, deliberate way of seeing the world. Hours passed, and the hum of the station quieted as most residents retreated to their rooms. Mara finally crawled into her bed, looking at the floating plants and the dimly glowing console Zeph had left active. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Living with an alien was going to be far more complicated than she imagined, but also far more incredible. Before closing her eyes, she glanced at Zeph, who floated silently near the window. Its large, reflective eyes caught the faint starlight, and for a moment it seemed almost human. Myra smiled to herself. Tomorrow, she promised, she would learn more about this extraordinary roommate. She would ask questions, watch, and perhaps even discover the mysteries hidden in Zeph's strange, beautiful perception of the universe. And deep inside, she knew that her ordinary life on Earth had just ended. Something extraordinary was about to begin. The next morning, Myra woke to the soft hum of the space station. The light from nearby stars filtered through the window, casting a silver glow across the apartment. Zeph was already awake, floating near the window, its reflective eyes trained on the vast expanse of space outside. Myra rubbed her eyes and yawned. She could feel a strange mixture of excitement and nervousness. Something about Zeph's intense focus made her heart race. "Good morning," she said softly, careful not to startle her roommate. Zeph tilted its head but did not respond verbally. Instead, it extended a long finger toward a distant point outside the window. Myra followed its gesture and froze. At first, she saw nothing unusual. Stars twinkled as usual, and the occasional shuttle passed by the station. But then, slowly, a formation emerged in the darkness, ships, hundreds of them, moving in perfect synchronization. Their shapes were unlike anything Mara had seen. Sleek, dark, almost organic, they glided silently, leaving faint trails of blue light. "Oh, wow," Mara whispered, her voice barely carried in the quiet room. Zeph emitted a soft hum, its skin flickering with a gentle glow. Detection confirmed. High-level energy pattern. Observation required. Myra swallowed hard. "Are those alien ships?" "Yes, multiple fleets detected. Station residents unaware." Myra's mind raced. How could no one else see them? Were they invisible to normal human perception? She watched the formation, feeling a shiver of both fear and excitement. The ships moved like a single living organism, their coordination so precise it was mesmerizing. "They're beautiful," she said. "And huge." "Correct. Function unknown, origin unknown." Threat level undetermined. Mara turned to Zeph. "You can't see them like this all the time." "Perception differs. Humans detect light and sound. I detect energy patterns, structural resonance, and interstellar movement." Mara shivered again, realizing that Zeph's senses were far beyond anything humans had. She had thought living with an alien would be strange, but she hadn't imagined anything like this. For hours, Mara and Zeph watched in silence. Occasionally, Zeph would tilt its head, make a soft hum, and tiny sparkles of light would flicker across its skin. Mara tried to imitate it, leaning closer to the window, squinting, attempting to notice the details her roommate observed. But no matter how hard she tried, the alien ships remained barely perceptible, as if they existed in a dimension humans could only sense faintly. "Why aren't people noticing them?" Mara finally asked, her voice trembling slightly. Humans perceive only physical light in narrow spectrums. Energetic movements beyond this range remain invisible. Mara nodded slowly. "So we're just blind." Partial observation. Humans adapt quickly, potential significant. The words hung in the air. Mara felt a mixture of pride and unease. Humans had always believed they were the smartest species in their corner of the galaxy. Yet here she was, witnessing an event invisible to ordinary human eyes, only perceivable because of Zeph's unique abilities. "Could they be dangerous?" Mara asked after a long pause. "Unknown, monitoring required, data insufficient for prediction." The morning passed into afternoon. Mara busied herself with unpacking and organizing her small belongings, but she kept glancing at Zeph and the window. Her curiosity was too strong. She wanted to understand more about these mysterious ships and more about her extraordinary roommate. Finally, Zeph turned to her, its glowing eyes fixed on hers. "You wish to understand?" "Yes," Mara admitted. "I want to know what you see, why it's important, and everything." Teaching possible. Observation demonstration recommended. Mara tilted her head. "Demonstration?" Zeph extended one of its long, graceful fingers and pressed a panel on the window console. A translucent screen appeared, projecting images Mara could barely comprehend. Glowing lines, energy pulses, and moving shapes, all corresponding to the mysterious fleet outside. "These are like maps?" Mara asked, pointing at the swirling lights. "Simplified version, yes." Energetic flow maps, motion prediction included. Mara leaned closer. She watched the flowing shapes and patterns, trying to make sense of them. Zeph's abilities were not just about seeing, they were about understanding. The alien could detect energy levels, predict movement, and analyze structures in real time. She realized that Zeph was processing data faster than she could even begin to comprehend. "This is amazing," Mara whispered. "You can see so much and understand it instantly." Correct, humans slower, potential significant. Mara's heart pounded. She had always believed humans were clever, but compared to Zeph, they were painfully slow. Yet the aliens seemed to have no judgment, only curiosity. That thought comforted her, giving her courage to ask more questions. "What do these ships want?" she asked. "Unknown. Motion patterns suggest surveillance, not attack. Intentions cannot be confirmed." Mara shivered. The words made her feel both reassured and anxious. Watching alien fleets silently glide through the void, unnoticed by everyone else, was both beautiful and terrifying. As the afternoon sun passed the station's orbit, the fleet moved further into deep space. Mara noticed Zeph's attention didn't waver. Its glowing skin shimmered brighter, tiny hums resonating with every movement. She realized that Zeph wasn't just observing, it was analyzing, learning, calculating, almost like the alien fleet was a puzzle waiting to be solved. "Do they always move like this?" Mara asked. "Patterns constant, variations detected, humans unable to observe without aid." Mara nodded, trying to digest what Zeph had said. She felt a strange sense of connection with her roommate. Here was a being from another world capable of extraordinary perception, yet sharing this experience with her. She felt honored and a little proud. You're really amazing, you know that?" she said softly. Observation noted. Gratitude detected. Mara smiled. She felt a warmth spread through her chest, a mix of friendship, admiration, and curiosity. She realized that this was only the beginning. Living with Zeph meant discovering things no human had ever seen. The universe was vast and mysterious, and she now had a front-row seat. Suddenly, Zeph's hum changed, sharp, urgent, almost musical. Mara followed its gaze and saw a small flicker of movement near the fleet, something different. She squinted but could barely make it out. "What is it?" she asked, leaning closer. Unknown anomaly detected. Rapid energy fluctuation. Mara felt a thrill run through her. For the first time, she sensed real danger, or at least a mystery that needed solving. Her heartbeat quickened. "Can we look closer?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Observation possible. Human participation encouraged. Zeph extended its hand, and the console screen expanded, showing a zoomed-in view of the anomaly. Mara gasped. Tiny vessels, even smaller than she had imagined, darted around the larger fleet. Their movement was chaotic, unpredictable, unlike the synchronized pattern of the main ships. Mini ships, she whispered. What are they doing? Function unknown, likely monitoring or reconnaissance. Myra's mind raced. These tiny ships moved like living creatures, weaving between the massive vessels, scanning, observing, maybe even communicating. She felt a thrill of excitement mixed with awe. Humans had always imagined alien fleets as massive and destructive, but here, intelligence revealed itself in subtlety and precision. They're smart, Mara said. Really smart, correct. Intelligence detected, humans underestimated. Mara realized something astonishing. Zeph was showing her that intelligence in the universe wasn't measured by size or firepower. It was measured by perception, adaptability, and understanding. Humans, in their own ways, had that potential too, but most didn't know it yet. Hours passed, and the anomaly disappeared into deep space. The main fleet continued its silent path, vanishing beyond the station's sensors. Mara leaned back, exhausted but exhilarated. Zeph floated beside her, silent again, its glowing skin dimming slightly. You're incredible, Mara said softly. I don't think I'll ever stop learning from you. Observation noted. Emotional connection acknowledged. Myra realized that this day would remain in her memory forever. She had seen a universe she could barely imagine, guided by an alien whose abilities far exceeded her own. And for the first time, she felt a spark of pride in humans, not just her, but her species. Perhaps in ways she didn't yet understand, humans had potential to be extraordinary too. As night fell over the station, Mara finally crawled into bed. She watched Zeph float near the window, gazing silently at the stars. Sleep eluded her, but for the first time in her life, she didn't mind. The universe had revealed a tiny glimpse of its mysteries, and she had a front row seat. She knew deep down that life with Zeph was going to change everything. Her perception of the universe, her understanding of herself, and perhaps even the future of humanity itself. The next morning, Mara woke to the familiar hum of the space station. She stretched and glanced at Zeph, who floated silently near the window, eyes reflecting the distant stars. Something in Zeph's calm, deliberate demeanor always made Mara feel both curious and safe at the same time. She had spent the past day observing the alien fleet with Zeph, and now a deep sense of anticipation filled her chest. "Good morning, Zeph," she said softly, trying not to disturb the alien. Zeph tilted its head slightly and emitted a low melodic hum, its skin flickering with soft pulses of color. Myra had grown to understand that this hum meant acknowledgement, perhaps even curiosity. She decided it was the right moment to ask the questions that had been on her mind since the previous day. "Zeph, can you show me more about what you saw yesterday?" Mara asked. Affirmative. Observation translation in progress. Zeph extended a long, graceful finger toward the window console. Instantly, a holographic map appeared, floating between them. Stars, planets, and swirls of energy formed intricate patterns. Mara leaned closer, her eyes wide. The map was unlike any star chart she had ever seen. Lines of energy pulsed and twisted between stars, and symbols she could not understand flashed briefly before disappearing. "What is all this?" she asked. Energy flow patterns, galactic influence networks, human interaction detected. Mara frowned, unsure she understood. Human interaction detected? Zeph's glowing eyes seemed to focus directly on her, as if reading her confusion. Yes, humans influence surroundings in ways unexpected. Observation demonstrates impact beyond immediate perception. Mara's mouth opened slightly. You mean humans affect the galaxy? Correct. Humans adapt, innovate, and persevere. Influence observed in multiple star systems. Mara shook her head in disbelief. She had always known humans were clever, but she had never imagined that their actions could be noticed on such a vast scale. "Can you show me an example?" she asked, leaning forward. Zeph nodded, or at least that was how Mara interpreted the subtle tilt of its head, and tapped the holographic map. A specific star system expanded into view. Mara gasped. She could see faint energy currents swirling around a cluster of planets, as if invisible threads connected them. "These currents, are you saying humans cause these?" Mara asked, pointing at the glowing lines, indirectly. Human exploration, adaptation, and problem-solving trigger energy resonance patterns. Long-term influence detected. Mara's mind raced. She had always felt proud of her species, creativity, and ingenuity, but this was beyond anything she had imagined. Humans were not only surviving in the galaxy, they were subtly shaping it. Zeph projected another image. This one showed a human colony on a distant moon. Mara could see the settlers constructing buildings, operating machines, and exploring the landscape. Lines of energy branched outward from their work, connecting to nearby stars and systems. "You mean, just by living and building, humans create this?" Mara whispered. "Yes. Adaptability and innovation produce measurable energetic influence, unique among observed species." Mara's heart swelled. She had always thought humans were small, fragile, and limited, but here was proof that they could leave a mark on the galaxy, even if they didn't realize it. She looked at Zeph with awe. "You're saying humans are important?" she asked, barely able to contain her excitement. Significant potential detected, unpredictable outcomes appreciated by other species. Mara smiled, feeling a strange mix of pride and amazement. She had never thought of herself as someone capable of influencing the galaxy, but now she realized that her species' potential was far greater than anyone had imagined. Zeph's hum shifted, almost musical, as it projected another set of images. This time, the focus was on human ingenuity during emergencies, rescue missions, resource management, problem-solving in extreme conditions. Mara watched humans solving problems on asteroid stations, designing machines to purify water and navigating dangerous terrain on uncharted planets. They never give up," Mara said softly. "No matter how hard it is, they keep going," persistence noted. Adaptability observed, resilience appreciated. Mara felt a deep sense of pride. Humans were not just survivors, they were innovators, explorers, and problem solvers. And Zeph had just shown her that this made them remarkable on a cosmic scale. You really believe humans are special," Mara said, her voice tinged with awe. "Special is relative. Humans exhibit traits uncommon and valued among observed species." Mara nodded slowly, taking in the holographic display. She could feel the weight of Zeph's words, the truth of what she was seeing. Her species, often underestimated, was quietly leaving a mark on the galaxy. She felt a sense of responsibility, a spark of purpose she had never experienced before. Suddenly, Zeph projected a new image, this time closer to the space station. Mara recognized the faint silhouette of the alien fleet she had seen yesterday. Tiny vessels darted between the larger ships, scanning, observing, and recording data. Mara's heart raced. "You mean all this, the fleets, the energy patterns, they notice humans too?" she asked. Observation confirmed. Intelligence networks detect unexpected human influence. Reaction neutral or cautious. Mara's mind reeled. Humans were not just passive inhabitants of the galaxy. They were observed, their actions recorded, and their influence measured. Somehow, in their resilience and creativity, they had become significant in ways that no one on Earth could have imagined. You're showing me that humans are more than we think," Mara said softly. "Correct. Potential for greatness unrecognized by self." Mara leaned back, overwhelmed. For years, she had felt ordinary, like just another human in a crowded world. But now, guided by Zeph's unique perception, she realized that humans had qualities rare even among alien civilizations: creativity, adaptability, persistence, and an unpredictable brilliance. "Zeph, why are you showing me this?" Mara asked after a pause. Observation suggests humans underestimate self. Awareness enhancement beneficial. Mara laughed softly. "So, you want me to know humans are incredible?" Affirmative. Knowledge may inspire action and awareness. Mara felt a rush of gratitude toward her alien roommate. Zeph had not only shown her extraordinary visions of the galaxy, but it had also revealed something deeper, the untapped potential of her own species. She spent the rest of the day studying Zeph's projections. The alien patiently guided her through countless star systems, pointing out patterns, anomalies, and instances of human ingenuity. Mara could barely keep up, but she didn't mind. Every new observation filled her with wonder, pride, and a growing determination to understand more. Hours passed, and the station's artificial day faded into night. Mara sat by the window, watching the stars shimmer as if in response to Zeph's projections. The alien floated silently beside her, its glowing skin reflecting faint constellations. For the first time, Mara felt truly connected, not just to Zeph, but to the universe itself. You've changed the way I see humans," she said softly, her voice almost a whisper. "I'll never look at Earth the same way again." Observation noted, emotional impact significant. Mara smiled. She felt a sense of purpose stirring within her. If humans were capable of influencing the galaxy in ways they didn't understand, then perhaps it was time to recognize their own potential, to explore, create, and inspire. Zeph's hum shifted again, softer this time, like a gentle affirmation. Mara leaned back in her chair, letting the weight of the day settle over her. The revelations she had witnessed were overwhelming, but also exhilarating. The universe was vast and full of mysteries, and humans, her species, were far more remarkable than she had ever imagined. As she drifted to sleep, Mara promised herself one thing: she would never underestimate her species again. And with Zeph by her side, she would continue to learn, to explore, and to understand the incredible potential that humans possessed. For the first time, she felt that the future was not just uncertain, it was full of possibilities. The next day, Mara woke with a sense of anticipation she could not shake. After yesterday's revelations, she had spent the night thinking about what Zeph had shown her. Humans, her species, had the power to influence the galaxy in ways most didn't even realize. And now, Zeph had something new in mind, a challenge that would test her understanding, creativity, and adaptability. She found Zeph waiting near the window, its glowing skin pulsing softly with an almost playful rhythm. Mara's heart raced. "Good morning," she said, smiling nervously. Zeph tilted its head and projected glowing letters into the air, preparation for skill demonstration. Participation encouraged. Mara blinked. Skill demonstration? Yes, simulation exercise. Evaluate human problem-solving and adaptability. Mara hesitated for a moment, feeling a mixture of excitement and nerves. She had never considered herself exceptional in any way. But the thought of learning from Zeph, and perhaps proving humans' potential, was too thrilling to pass up. "Follow me." Zeph floated toward a small door Mara had not noticed before. It pressed its hand against the panel, and the door slid open, revealing a compact chamber. Inside, the walls were lined with holographic projectors. In the center of the room, a large circular platform shimmered with energy, as if it were a window into another world. Mara stepped inside cautiously. "What is this?" she asked. "Holodeck, simulation environment." Realistic scenarios generated for training and observation. Mara's eyes widened. She had read about holodecks on Earth, but she had never imagined one in real life. The thought of stepping into a simulated world filled her with both excitement and apprehension. Objective: prevent catastrophic interstellar collision. Human leadership required. Mara's mouth fell open. "A collision? You mean like ships crashing into planets?" "Correct." Exercise evaluates rapid problem-solving, teamwork, and creative thinking. Mara took a deep breath. She had spent her life reading, studying, and exploring in small ways, but this was unlike anything she had ever faced. Yet, looking at Zeph's glowing eyes, she felt a strange sense of confidence. Somehow the alien believed in her abilities, even if she wasn't sure she could trust herself. The platform glowed brighter, and Mara felt a gentle pull. In an instant, the room around her changed. She was no longer in the apartment but floating in space, surrounded by a massive network of star systems. Hundreds of ships moved in synchronized paths, some massive and slow, others tiny and agile. Energy streams connected planets and stations like threads in a cosmic web. Mara felt a thrill of awe. The simulation was astonishingly realistic. She could see the intricate details of each ship, the faint trails of energy they left behind, and the delicate balance of forces holding entire star systems together. A soft hum filled the space around her. Zeph's voice echoed in her mind. "Your task: prevent collision. Lead human team, use strategy, creativity, and resourcefulness." Mara took a deep breath. She had no instructions on how to begin. She glanced around and noticed other humans appearing in the simulation, each looking confused but ready to follow direction. Her heart raced. She was about to lead a team through a problem she had never encountered in real life. "Begin." Mara focused on the approaching threat. Two massive ships were on a collision course with a nearby planet. She could see the tiniest vessels darting around, trying to correct the course, but the problem was too complex for them to handle alone. "Okay," Mara muttered to herself. Think, what would humans do?" She scanned the fleet and noticed patterns, how the ships moved, where energy flowed, and where the bottlenecks were. She realized she could use the smaller vessels to redirect energy streams, giving the larger ships more time to adjust their course. "Team, focus on the smaller ships first," Mara called. Use them to stabilize the energy fields around the planet. The humans in the simulation responded immediately, moving with a combination of coordination and improvisation. Mara's instructions were simple, but the results were profound. The tiny vessels began channeling energy precisely as she had imagined, creating protective flows that slowed the larger ships just enough to prevent disaster. Zeph hovered nearby, observing silently. Mara felt a flicker of pride. Maybe I can do this, she thought. The next challenge came quickly. A massive asteroid suddenly appeared, heading straight for a space station in the simulation. Mara analyzed the situation. The station's defenses were limited, and the asteroid was moving unpredictably. Okay, we need to combine resources, Mara said, thinking aloud. Redirect energy from the fleet to create a temporary barrier. Use the smaller ships to push the asteroid off course. She watched as her plan unfolded. The humans followed her guidance, and to her amazement, it worked. The asteroid's trajectory shifted, narrowly missing the station. Mara felt a surge of exhilaration. Humans were improvising, adapting, and succeeding. Zeph emitted a soft, melodic hum, its skin flickering with colors Mara had never seen before. Human ingenuity noted, unexpected adaptability observed. Mara laughed, a mixture of relief and excitement. I can't believe this is working, she said, her voice echoing in the simulation. Observation, human creativity effective even under pressure. The final challenge approached. Multiple ships in the simulation were now malfunctioning, their energy fields destabilized. Mara realized that if she didn't act quickly, a chain reaction could destroy several planets. She felt her pulse quicken. Team, she said firmly, we need to stabilize the largest ships first. Focus on energy balance. Smaller ships support and redirect. Communicate constantly. She guided her team step by step, improvising when unexpected problems arose. One human panicked when a ship's energy field fluctuated dangerously, but Mara stayed calm. Take a deep breath. Follow the plan. We can fix this together. Slowly, carefully, the energy field stabilized. The massive ships realigned, the smaller vessels performed perfectly, and the planets remained safe. Mara exhaled, her heart pounding. She had done it. Zeph floated beside her, its glowing skin pulsing softly. Simulation complete. Human leadership and problem-solving exceeded expectations. Mara blinked, still in disbelief. We did it. Correct. Human creativity, adaptability, and leadership confirmed. Potential significant. Mara smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her chest. For the first time, she truly understood what Zeph had been trying to show her. Humans, often underestimated, possessed qualities that could make them extraordinary on a cosmic scale. You really believe in humans, she said softly, looking at Zeph. Belief is observation-based. Humans consistently demonstrate traits rare among observed species. Mara laughed, a mixture of relief and pride. She had faced the challenge, guided a team, and succeeded. And in doing so, she had glimpsed the untapped potential of her species in a way she had never imagined. The simulation faded, and Mara found herself back on the platform in the holodeck. She felt both exhausted and exhilarated. Zeph floated beside her, its eyes reflecting the soft lights of the chamber. You're amazing, Mara said, her voice quiet but sincere. I never thought humans could do this. Observation noted, emotional impact acknowledged. Mara realized something profound. The universe was vast, full of mysteries and challenges. And yet, humans had the ability to adapt, innovate, and solve problems even in the most extreme conditions. The simulation had been more than a test. It had been a revelation. As Mara stepped out of the holodeck, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. She knew that living with Zeph was changing her, expanding her understanding of both herself and her species. Humans were not ordinary. They were capable of greatness, resilience, and creativity that could leave a mark on the galaxy. Zeph floated silently beside her as she returned to their apartment. The alien's glowing skin pulsed softly, almost like a smile. Mara felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had been given a glimpse of her species' potential, guided by a being who could see the universe in ways humans could not. You've shown me something incredible, Mara said softly. And I want to see more, learn more, understand more. Observation acknowledged. Continued guidance possible. Mara smiled, feeling a sense of excitement and determination. The universe was vast, and her journey had only just begun. With Zeph by her side, She knew that humans could rise to challenges she had never imagined, and perhaps even inspire the galaxy in ways yet unseen. For the first time, she felt a deep, unshakable confidence. Humans were extraordinary, and the future was full of possibilities. The morning sun, or what passed for morning on the space station, filtered through the tall windows of Myra and Zeph's apartment. Mara woke feeling a strange mixture of excitement and calm. Yesterday's simulation had left her both exhausted and exhilarated. She had led a human team to prevent a catastrophic interstellar collision in a fully immersive holodeck simulation. And through it, she had seen firsthand the potential her species possessed: creativity, adaptability, and leadership beyond expectation. Zeph was already awake, hovering near the window. Its skin pulsed softly with colors that reflected the faint starlight outside. Mara smiled. There was a quiet understanding between them now, a connection that had grown stronger with each day. "Good morning, Zeph," she said softly. The alien tilted its head and emitted a gentle hum, a tone Mara had come to recognize as a form of acknowledgement. "Good morning." Observation continues. Mara stretched and walked closer to the window, gazing out at the infinite expanse of stars. Yesterday's lessons, the simulation, and Zeph's revelations kept replaying in her mind. Humans were capable of far more than they realized. They had been underestimated, yet their creativity and resilience allowed them to adapt in ways even highly advanced species did not expect. "I've been thinking," Mara said quietly, "about what you showed me, about how humans influence the galaxy without even knowing it." Zeph's eyes shimmered softly, reflection noted. "Humans rarely recognize own potential." Mara nodded. "We've been so focused on small problems on daily life we don't see the bigger picture." "Correct. Observation, human awareness limited, yet potential significant." She sighed, a mixture of wonder and humility. "But now I see it. I see what humans can do, what we really are capable of." Zeph floated closer, its glow brightening slightly. Acknowledgement of growth detected. Mara laughed softly. "You've changed the way I see everything. Myself, humans, the universe." Observation, emotional impact considerable. A soft silence fell between them. Mara looked at Zeph, realizing how much she had learned from this extraordinary roommate. Zeph, in turn, seemed to regard her with an intensity she had not seen before. Its large, reflective eyes were full of focus, perhaps even admiration. "Human species, remarkable," Zeph projected, the glowing letters shimmering in the air. Mara blinked. "You think humans are remarkable," confirmed. "Adaptability, creativity, and resilience exceed most observed species. Humans endure and innovate under extreme conditions. Humans inspire through unpredictability." Mara felt a warmth spread through her chest. She had expected guidance, perhaps teaching, but not admiration. That an alien from a far more advanced civilization saw humanity as remarkable was beyond her wildest imagination. "I thank you," she whispered, "for showing me all of this." Acknowledgement received, mutual observation valuable. Mara turned her gaze back to the stars. She realized that Zeph's presence had changed her. The universe was no longer an abstract concept, a distant expanse of cold stars. It was alive with possibilities, and humans were far more capable of shaping those possibilities than she had ever imagined. Suddenly, Zeph projected another holographic display, this time showing multiple human settlements across distant planets and moons. Mara saw the settlers constructing homes, operating machinery, exploring alien landscapes, and solving complex problems. The energy currents flowing from them connected entire systems, subtle yet unmistakable, leaving an imprint on the galaxy. "You're showing me more examples?" Mara asked, her voice full of awe. "Correct. Humans consistently demonstrate traits unusual and valued among observed species." Mara studied the holograms. Each scene was simple: humans building, creating, helping each other. But the patterns of energy and influence Zeph highlighted made them extraordinary. They were leaving a subtle but measurable mark on the galaxy through persistence, intelligence, and courage. "They don't even know it," Mara said softly. "They just live, and yet they influence everything around them." Observation, humans underestimate own impact. Recognition rare. Mara felt a swell of pride. She thought of Earth, of her friends and family, of the countless humans who worked tirelessly, solved problems, and created beauty without realizing the ripples they sent across space. Zeph's revelations had opened her eyes to a truth she could never ignore. Humans were extraordinary, even if most didn't yet see it. The hum in the apartment changed. Zeph floated closer, glowing brighter. Human potential, inspiring. Adaptation, ingenuity, resilience, rare and significant. Mara laughed softly, almost in disbelief. You're saying humans are admired, even by species far older and more advanced than we are? Affirmative. Observation confirmed. Humans rarely recognized as remarkable by other civilizations. She felt a sense of responsibility. Humans could no longer remain blind to their own capabilities. Zeph had shown her the truth, but what about the rest of humanity? Could she help them see their potential, their creativity, and the impact they were capable of having on the universe? You've changed everything for me, Zeph, Mara said softly. I see humans differently now, and I feel proud, maybe for the first time in my life. Acknowledgement, emotional growth significant. Observation, mutual benefit detected. Zeph's glow pulsed in response. Myra realized that this alien, so different from herself in every way, had formed a bond with her. It had not only taught her about the universe and humans' potential, but it had also connected with her on a level she could understand. Respect, admiration, and shared curiosity. For hours, they sat together, silently observing the stars. Mara felt a deep connection to both the alien and the universe. The earlier fear and uncertainty had vanished, replaced with confidence and purpose. She knew that humans could rise to any challenge, solve problems with ingenuity, and leave a mark that even advanced species could not ignore. Later, Zeph floated closer to Mara and projected a final set of holograms. This time, the images highlighted human creativity. Scientists discovering new methods to harness energy, engineers building advanced structures in space, explorers charting unknown planets, and communities solving problems together. The patterns of influence glowed like threads weaving the galaxy into a subtle, interconnected tapestry. Mara's eyes widened. She could see the truth Zeph had been showing her all along. Humans, through persistence, intelligence, and adaptability, were capable of leaving a lasting impact on the galaxy, and in ways that other civilizations recognized, even if humans themselves did not. They really are incredible, Mara whispered. Observation, human uniqueness confirmed. Respect and admiration warranted. Mara smiled, feeling a sense of pride and determination. She knew that living with Zeph had given her a gift, a vision of what humans could be, and a glimpse of the universe as it truly was. Humans were resilient, adaptable, and unpredictable, qualities that made them rare and remarkable. You've shown me something I'll never forget, Mara said softly, placing a hand on the window ledge. Humans are extraordinary, and we can do so much more than we realize. Zeph's glow brightened, and it emitted a soft, melodic hum that Mara understood as affirmation. She felt a bond with the alien, a connection that went beyond species, beyond language, and beyond simple understanding. It was respect, admiration, and shared curiosity for the mysteries of the universe. Mara took a deep breath, looking out at the stars. For the first time, she felt truly confident in her place in the galaxy. Humans were not just observers of the cosmos, they were participants, innovators, and creators. The universe was vast, full of challenges, and yet full of opportunities for those willing to adapt, think, and persevere. I'll make sure humans know one day, she whispered, almost to herself. We have potential, we have strength, we can do amazing things. Zeph floated beside her, glowing softly. Observation, humans capable of great achievement. Recognition confirmed. Mara felt a deep sense of gratitude. Zeph had not only shown her the hidden power of her species, but had also instilled in her a confidence she had never felt before. She knew that the future held endless possibilities. Humans were no longer ordinary. They were remarkable, resilient, and capable of shaping the universe in ways they had never imagined. As the station turned in its orbit, Mara and Zeph sat together, silently observing the stars. The vast galaxy stretched endlessly before them, full of mysteries, challenges, and opportunities. Mara felt a sense of purpose stirring deep within her. Humans had the potential to rise, to create, to inspire, and to leave a mark that would be remembered. Zeph's soft hum filled the apartment, harmonizing with the distant hum of the station. Mara smiled. For the first time in her life, she felt completely certain of one truth. Humans were extraordinary, and the universe was waiting for them to realize it. And somewhere in the distant stars, their influence was already being felt.